Hello everyone, I am Debbie Polachek. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making some of these little black-eyed Susans, I believe is what they called. They have several different varieties. They have 3 different varieties in the field across from me. I'm going to be making 2 of them here. And I'll show you how to color this 3rd one. It looks like this, but it has some red on the inside. And so we'll do a sample of one of those too. I did use Stampin' Up! Products, and I also used some products I'll have listed below from Amazon. Particularly what is really good for these, and a lot of flowers, is this tool set. And like I said, I'll leave that link below for this tool set. It makes the little grooves in the leaves. And so these are the punches I'm going to be using. I'm going to use the vase builder punch. I'm going to use it to make the stamen on the inside. And I'm going to use the perennial flower for this one that has the bigger leaves. Now see, this one doesn't look pretty from the back, so you'll have to basically glue this one on a card. But if you wanted some that are freestanding, then you can make them like this. And you probably could even add out to, like, put one cup on top of another and make it a little taller if you wanted to go through the trouble of doing that. If that's what you wanted to do. By gluing it on, building glue up, and gluing it on, and then making it smooth with glue around the outside, and then gluing all the little beads to it. But it would be too much trouble as far as I'm concerned. But that would be another way of doing it. The daisy punch. I'm using the large daisy punch. The small daisy punch would work fine. Now see, for the inside of these have these little petals in here. Or not petals, but whatever it is that closes up the flower when it's a bud. And they were pretty large on this flower. If you had the small daisy punch, that would be perfect. I just don't have it, so I'll have to use this one and trim them down. I'm going to use crushed curry for these flowers because the flowers are they're so yellow they're almost orange. So that's why I'm going to use crushed curry. And for each flower, it takes 2 of the flower punches. 2 of this and 1 of the inside. And you'll see that in a minute. But anyway, let's go ahead and do 2 of the daisy punches for the 1 flower. And 1 of the old olive for this same flower. I'm going to use 2 of these. And 1 each of this one and this one. And I'm using early espresso for that. Some of these had, instead of the little seed beads all the way across, they had like a green area here. Or not, these aren't seed beads, these are they're called prills. Instead of they would have like a green area here. Now you could use probably a green paper and just put the brown beads on this bottom half of it and make it appear to be that way, or put the green prills here and then the brown ones. I don't believe I have any green prills. Let me see. Yeah, I got some of the some color green. Those would probably look pretty if you wanted to do something like that. Put like a green on the tip and then the brown on the bottom. For this smaller one, I went ahead and trimmed off the tip of that to make it more like a circle. Next we're going to do some sponging. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Mango Melody and put it in the center of this and just kind of swipe it out towards the outside of each one of these petals. Then take it and sponge some all the way around the edges. I'm going to do this just on one side of each one of these. You can do the same with the green ones with the Mossy Meadow. Okay, this one I'm going to do the same. Swish it out. Okay, now the other one that was this same shape and had the red on the inside, I'm going to take a piece of Whisper white cardstock and push 2 of these out for that. I would say on the real ones it looked darker in that. So let's try on this side, let's try the Cherry Cobbler marker this time. And put the brush in on and just do that. Yeah, I think that's going to look more like it. I discovered that you probably should color the inside of that circle as well. I can go up get pretty good in that. So that was Cherry Cobbler Dark. Yeah, see, that looked more like that real flower than the other side did. I turned on the hot glue gun. Now I'm going to get my piercing tool, a piercing mat. And I'm going to try it one way with it dampened. I already tried it dried. It actually works pretty good dry. But I want to try it wet and see if it's easier. Yeah, I think it is actually easier, and it does better if it's a little wet, a little damp. Now I'm working on the back side of these, and I'm making about 3 scrapes with this bigger one, the biggest of the tools. There's 4 different sizes here, and I'm using the biggest one. And kind of hard to see on this one because it's got that print on there. So if you do dampen these a bit, let them dry out pretty good before you try to pull this in, because if you don't, it makes our mat too slippery and it won't pull in nicely for you. So try it dry first. It might be just best to you do it dry, but here you should be able to see the crease that it makes. See the little creases that it makes? It makes like a little groove when you do that. You can see it on the inside too. So I've got these on the back side, and I'm just rolling it around one time if I can get it on there. And that's it. Okay. So it's good to dampen it a little bit and kind of let it dry a little bit, and make sure and probably spray it somewhere beside your mat, because once you get the mat a little slippery, it makes the whole thing hard. The petal goes with you, so it's better if you don't get the mat wet. So now let's go ahead and get our piercing tool and poke a hole inside the center of each one of these. Now I'm going to get some craft wire. On this one I used the kind of soft wire that's nice and soft, but on some of these it's so heavy the stems, the nature of these flowers, the stems stand up straight up. So if they hang like this, it kind of loses the effect. So I'm going to get some of that, that green floral wire that's stiff. I'm going to cut it in half with some wire cutters. And since it is kind of stiff, I'm going to use my round jewelry plowers. I can never say that. Okay, and just make like a circle like that on the end of each one. For this flower, like this, I like to fold it completely down. So for these, completely down. For the other ones, just leave the end up. It would be fine, because you want something for the glue to grab onto. And I'm about halfway on my flowers to have it up there. Okay. For our centers, let's get those done. For these, I'm going to use a large stylist. This is like an 8mm. And I will go ahead and dampen this because I can tell this is not going to work good. Again, I'm going to try to take it off my mat to do that so my mat doesn't get wet. And this, I'm going to just poke in the center. And I'm trying to form a little cup with this, and trying to keep the edges from crinkling too much. You know, they will crinkle a little bit because you're going in a circle. And so this is what I'm trying to do, is make a cup that's without too many creases around it on the outside. Sometimes you can go ahead and form it. This is one of the things where the double mat would be good. And then just kind of roll the edges like this, and that makes a better cup. Okay. So we're going to let that dry. This one I'm going to start in the middle, kind of roll it around, roll the edges. This one's going to be a little bit too long before I needed to cut that. So I can go ahead and cut that now, I guess. Cut off about a 1/2 inch off the bottom of these. Okay. And this long one, I found that I like to put the glue in there, some glue in there right now. So I'm just kind of make a long tunnel. This just kind of gives it some support, kind of acts like a dimensional, but it's got a little bit of a roundness to it because of the shape of the stamen here. Okay. And now what you can do is take the silicone mat and lay that on top. Add some more glue to the top of that wire area to build it up a little bit more and to secure the wire inside. Then let that cool. And if it looks like it's too full, you can go ahead and set it down on your mat, and that'll give it a flat end there on the other side. Okay. This one is made just like this one. I'm just going to use the red ones so we can see how that ends up instead of making another one. But it's done the same way as this one. It's just not added the red color to it. Okay, this one here, we're going to go ahead and start by putting one of our yellow daisy punch leaves. And I'm going to add a bit of glue. This is the one we flattened out to the top of that. Push it to the top and let it cool a bit. Add another one to it. We want to stagger the leaves. So I'm adding some glue to the top of that one. And we want to stagger those leaves in between one another. Push it all down. Okay, this time I'm going to add the glue to here, and I'm going to add a big gob right in the middle of that. Because again, I want the glue to kind of support that center button there. And stick that on top. Okay. There's my little black-eyed Susan. Number one. I think this one's cooled off enough that we can go ahead and do this. See how it's flat against the back here? So it will glue onto a card real nicely with that flat back. Okay, let's see what this looks like. We're going to put this one here. And what I'm going to try to do is glue this as flat to this as I can without the glue showing. So I'm going to put the glue towards the back here. And I'm going to actually straighten it up at this point. But then I'm going to turn it back down once I get it. Because the flatter this is against here, the better those beads will go inside later. Okay, let's get the other red one. Again, stick it in there. Put some glue. Now this one, it might be a good idea to color both sides, at least the mango melody color. You know, at least put that on the back side, because these would probably show. Again, we're staggering the leaves, pushing it to the top. Okay, this is the first time I'm making these, and I'm trying to think. I think it would have been better if I went ahead and put the red all through the center part here. So now for our seed beads, not seed beads, but our Prel beads. I'm going to put a cheaper alternative to these Prel beads. These come in a set of a bunch of different colors. And then there's a cheaper version of beads that can be used. And they were, I think, designed to use on nails, because they have the nails, you know, how they have the little beads, little small beads. Those would work fine. The only issue I think with those is looks like the beads are kind of all in a little case, and keeping all them little beads in the same right spot, I'm not real sure. So anyway, I'll put those there in case you want them. This is a funnel, one of the funnels. I added some paper here because of the seed beads. These are really better to use on this, because when they bounce, they won't bounce completely out all the time. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, and I just took over here and put this upside down and drew some cardstock add a little bit on each edge, and then just Scotch tape this all along here. So my seed beads was kind of stay in one spot and they wouldn't funnel out. This would be a better funnel by doing it that way. Okay, now I'm going to take my glue. I think I am going to try the green and then the brown. So I'm going to use just that. And I'm going to try the brown on the bottom. Yep, forgot I could have done that. And you got it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will join me again. I'm going to try to come up with an idea to make a card or something with these, so stay tuned and we'll see what we can come up with. Thank you. Bye-bye for now.